All right, fans of music, welcome back. It is Dave. It is the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people, just like you right there and me right here. Collectively, I've spoken to a lot of Journey fans who would really love to see a Journey Gregg Rolie reunion. Like, honest to goodness, Gregg Rolie's playing keyboards. Gregg, as you know, is a pretty decent singer, and Gregg kind of laid the foundation for everything that would be Journey. And look, folks, as much as we can talk about the Escape album all we want, we can talk about, Frontiers and Raised on Radio. Infinity, Evolution, and Departure are what classic rock Journey fans really sink their teeth into. Now, you may say, well, but those albums don't have the same sort of chart history, success-wise, and certainly Escape kind of broke things open. But there are quite a few folks that liked the whole Perry-Rolie combination, especially when they would duet. Feeling That Way and Anytime and Just the Same Way, those are two instances where trading off vocals it's just really cool to listen to those songs and to hear that production back in those times where things were much more organic sounding and feeling. Now, Escape was a transition record, and of course we get Jonathan Cain, who came in, by the way, on the recommendation of Gregg Rolie. So Gregg, a fairly magnanimous person, who I think felt a little bit squeezed because Perry was getting all the action, and people were paying attention to Steve's songs, and Gregg became less and less in the band, and he saw the writing on the wall. He was a vocalist. He wanted to sing. I've heard him in interviews saying how I don't think they wanted me to sing anymore. Guess what? We'd all like to hear Gregg sing again. There are a lot of people who were really psyched up about the benefit concert that happened earlier this year up in San Francisco, featuring the one and only Gregg Rolie and Dean Castronovo singing. And look, folks, to me, that sounds like Journey. As much as Don't Stop Believin' and Faithfully, and these songs that came along later, Open Arms, look, Any Way You Want It, was that like Caddyshack or something like that when it came out? I mean, these were just, these were rock anthems. Lights, if you like the slower tunes, but there are a ton of music. And even prior to Infinity, I would say on the album Look Into the Future, I think Gregg Rolie was really trying hard to appease the record label. On a Saturday Night, and there are other tracks on that particular album, I think, that should have broken through bigger and laid the groundwork for things like Infinity and Departure and Evolution. And to me, I think, I don't know, the culture, I guess people are showing up at these concerts, supposedly. I get into arguments about it. They're showing up to hear the hits. Okay, well, who's to say Gregg Rolie can't play keyboards on some of these later tunes that need to be performed because they're part of the catalog, but really delve back into the Gregg Rolie era. I mean, it would just be cool. I know the Ringo tour is going to wrap up, the Journey tour is going to wrap up, and rumor has it Journey Through Time might reunite, but I hear Jonathan Cain might want to do full-time ministry with his wife. So if that's the case, wouldn't it be cool if Gregg Rolie just stepped in where he was before, kind of like Steve Smith did? I mean, I don't think he'd have a lot of disappointed fans. I think people, they don't want to hear about politics. They don't want to hear about religion. You want to tell your story, that's great, but it's not everybody's story. And proselytizing and so forth, I don't know if that belongs on the rock and roll stage. I think that belongs in church for the most part, and I have no problem with that in the church. But, you know, to kind of reel people in and say, oh, come over here. You know, I think a few of us might be getting a little tired of that. I'm not sure how you feel about this, but I'd love to see Gregg Rolie back in Journey. And maybe we can all just petition, you know, the powers that be, Irv Azoff. Because, look, John Cain doesn't sing songs, right? He's actually sung the vocal parts in Feelin' That Way in the past. And wouldn't it be cool to actually have the guy who sung those parts? Because he's still around. His name's Gregg Rolie, and he's currently on tour with Ringo and the All-Star Band. So we shall see. 2019 is going to be an interesting year for music if you're a Journey fan. All right, done. I'll be back soon. See ya.